Hey everybody, it's Taylor with Boydston Grove, and today we're going to show you how to make the cliffhanger bag toss game. Let's get into it. Alright, if you Google bag toss game, you're primarily going to get a whole bunch of variations of the traditional cornhole game. But I was in the store the other day and I saw this game produced by a company named Franklin called the Cliffhanger game, and it looked really cool. One of the main things that I liked about it, that unlike cornhole, you only needed the one board for both players. And based on what I saw, it looks like I can use my regular cornhole bags on this game as well.
Win, win, win.
Now there's not too much information on this game online, so I decided to kind of wing it and see what I could come up with. Here we find ourselves deep in the midst of what is known as the traditional American workshop, home of the North American woodworker, and it appears that this particular one is on the prowl. The North American woodworker spends a good amount of his time rummaging through scraps to find a desirable piece of wood for his next venture. It appears that he has found what he is searching for, and now it is just a matter of getting it back to his work area. And with his success, the American woodworker lives to hunt another day. For this project, I'm going to be using some 3/4 inch plywood. I used some nails and a scrap piece of wood to mark a curve on each side of the board. I also marked out a spot for a handle and then started cutting it out. After looking at some reference pictures, I decided to go with a size of 2 foot by 3 foot. I marked out a spot on the bottom to create some feet and cut it out with the jigsaw. Then I used my router to put a round over on all the edges of both sides, including the handle. I cut some scrap pieces of 1/2 inch plywood to make 5 shelves or cliffs for this game. The shelves should get smaller the higher they are on the game board. I cut 2 pieces to 8 inches by 8 inches, 2 pieces to 7 inches by 8 inches, and the top piece to 6 inches by 8 inches. Using a cornhole bag as my size reference, I marked the board where I thought the shelf should sit. The top shelf stays straight, while the 4 bottom shelves sit at about a 15-degree angle pointed toward the center of the board. I used the shelves to make reference marks to cut out the 5 slots. Then I put a round over on both sides of all the shelves. I cut a slot in the bottom of the game board and used one of the 3/4 inch cutoffs to make a leg. After marking out a shape that I liked, I cut it out with the jigsaw. I wanted the game board to lean back slightly, so I held it at an angle that I wanted and marked the back foot and cut it. Alright, it wasn't until this point that I had realized I had accidentally used the bottom shelves to mark out the slots for the middle shelves, so the slots were too big. It was a pretty easy fix. I just cut some little pieces of 3/4 inch plywood and stuck them in there. Pays to take your time and pay attention to what you're doing. With the shelves in place, I marked the back of each one where it met the board, and then marked a slot to cut out. I cut down some scraps of 1/2 inch plywood to 2 inch by 3 inch pieces. Then I cut notches on them on the scroll saw. These will act as little keys to hold the shelves in place. Last but not least, I added some strips of wood to the bottom of each shelf for some additional strength. You know, I spend a lot of time trying to get a really nice finish on a lot of projects, but this is a fun outdoor game, so I figured I was just gonna have fun with it. So I gathered up every bright color of spray paint we had and just went to town until I found something I liked. To finish it off, I painted some numbers for points above each shelf. All right, our cliffhanger bag toss game is finished. This was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to play, and it was a really quick and easy project. In case you didn't notice, there wasn't necessarily supposed to be a 4 up here. According to the traditional game, it would go 1 point, 2 point, and 3 point. For some reason, when I was painting the numbers, I had 1 on the brain, and I just painted 1, and it was easier to turn the 1 into a 4 than a 3, so now it's a 4. And just for fun, I added the 3.5 if you happen to land a bag on this little foot right here. Whatever, it's my game. I can do whatever I want. One of the cool parts about building this project is that other than a little bit of glue for these blocks under here, you don't need any fasteners for this project whatsoever. Okay, there's just a few things about this project that I'm really unhappy with that I would do totally differently if I ever built it again. Number one, I really appreciate the fact that it comes completely apart, but then you have a bunch of loose parts and you need a bag or something to put them in. I know that the store version actually comes with a little bag you can put them all in. I see those keys being something that can really easily be lost if you're not careful. If I were to design this over again, I think what I would do is instead of adding a foot on the bottom, I would actually just attach a board right here on a hinge so the board could swing out and you could put it at whatever angle you want, and then when you're finished playing, it could just swing and lay flat. You could also do the exact same thing with these little shelves right here. You could put them on hinges and then you could add a little piece underneath that would swing out to hold them up, kind of like the leaf on a table. If you did those two things, then this thing would be absolutely one piece all by itself that you could easily fold up and put away without having to have a bag full of pieces that you store. Now, I'm always on the lookout for cool outdoor games that we can build, so if you come up with any ideas, let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, be safe, and have a great day.